All right, so for the past 4 months, from September to December, it's been our first term, or as we call it, 1A. And I'm just gonna walk you guys through the courses that we take real quick and my experiences with them. It's honestly, for me, my experience at all has not been stressful. So this is certainly just my perspective on it, and it does not reflect the perspective of the class or any other people attending the program in that matter. So we're going to head to the screen here and we'll walk you through everything. All right, first up is 110, which is called Visual and Digital Media 1. This is an introductory course for those who have no experience in any editing software and graphic software pertaining to architecture. Me personally, I've been using Photoshop, Illustrator, and basically the entire Adobe suite for more than 2 years now. So for me, this course was extremely easy. The one program that I did not know how to use beforehand coming into here was Rhino, or the full name is Rhinoceros, of course. It's a 3D rendering software, which can also be used on a 2D plane, and this is what architects use to create plans, different drawings, and just work with vector lines as well as models. So in 110, you don't learn how to technically 3D model yet, because first you need to learn the fundamentals of 2D plans and sections in architecture. So this program is what they got us started on, to work with vector lines. I found that in the end, as we progressed to the final project, I personally still preferred to use Adobe Illustrator to work with vectors, and I just simply did some math and calculated each scale I needed. Rhino does have the good use in that it calculates your scale for you, 1 to 10, 1 to 100, 1 to 50, however you want to export it, and the dimensions are easier to scale in there. However, as I said, I just did a little bit of quick maths and worked in Illustrator for my projects. So this class ran on Fridays as an addition onto your studio course, which is 192, and we'll get to that real quick. So for 110, it is quite laid back. I would say it's more of a tutorial course. You work at your own pace because all of the work you do ends up being submitted alongside your studio work. And so for us, we had it all online. It wasn't necessary in person, and logistically, it wasn't really feasible in person anyways. So having it online really did help notch it down a bit, I would say, in terms of the amount of time spent going through lecture material. Instead, more time was focused on you actually doing the exercises. And that does highlight a part of Waterloo's curriculum, is a lot of hands-on work, which for me personally does tend to work out better. All right, before we jump into studio, we're gonna go to 120 and 142. 120 is your architecture ideas and communications course. And what we did in this course essentially was go through a lot of different workshops pertaining to going through architecture articles and different written pieces of work about architecture, and learning how to draw resources, write our own analyses, do citations. So it's kind of like your English course or your language course, except now we're talking about architecture, and you're learning to convey different meanings and aspects of architecture through text and not through model making or more architectural aspects. Architecture 142 is your Intro to Cultural History. This is the one class that is not specifically designed to address any architectural problems, although it does, and for good reason. So as architects, we have to, yes, understand the technicalities and logistics and everything architecture, but part of this is also to understand culture as a whole, and this is what this class is for. So basically, this class is just a series of weekly readings and personal reflections in the form of short essays. I forgot to mention that the final for ARC 120 and also for 142 is a essay, and they're quite free. The topic is really general, and you're allowed to go convey it in any sense you want, as long as you don't go too off topic. But it is basically a free-for-all. You write about what you are interested in related to the topic. So those two courses are more of your sit down, study, read, write courses. However, the bulk of our time is taken up by Studio. Studio, also known as 192, this is the bulk of everything. This is also the most important course you have. It is the most heavily weighted, and it's, well, of course, because this is where you actually apply everything you've learned into creating and designing buildings. So for the first two projects, they were more abstract. The first project especially was just to get us introduced to different structural components. And also at the same time, that ties into 110, where we would start our first drawings and learn about line weighting and different section cuts, plans, all of that. The second project evolved the first project in the sense that it was the first project, but now we had to work on it in order to create an actual structure from it with purpose, and now thinking about technicalities such as stairs, headspace, different programs such as where gathering spaces were, where private spaces were, all that. The third project was a case study, and that further enhanced our knowledge of different houses and different architects and how things just go about. That was a group project. And then project 4, our final project, was to design a building with a specific program pertaining to a site that we actually get access to. So not going really too in-depth about these because I'm not supposed to give any spoilers, but you can tell it's a pretty linear progression. And for me, at least personally, it was not stressful at all. It was quite fun and really enjoyable because you look back at what you've done and you think, wow, I used to be so shit at this, but now I'm amazing. Like, my drawings look sexy. I keep looking in this direction just because I have my, here, I'll turn my camera. Because I have the plotting of my diagrams here. This was the final project, just like a little sneak peek. Ignore my other posters, but yeah. So that's kind of what you do, and my camera angle's all off now, but that doesn't matter. So the video you're seeing now is me working on my final model for the final project in Studio. And for Studio, we always stay really late. A lot of people stay until 11 p.m. and that's when we get kicked out because the school closes. And that's for also a good reason, because you shouldn't be pulling all-nighters and you shouldn't be staying there too late. If you work at your own pace and you know what you need to do and you get it all done, it should be completely fine. Personally, I did not need to pull any all-nighters. I got my 8 hours of sleep every day. I still stuck to my schedule. Like, the one time I did have to pull all-nighter was because I genuinely wanted to know what it felt like. So I grabbed an energy drink, I grabbed one of my roommates, and we stayed up till like 3 in the morning. And then I couldn't anymore because there was nothing for me to do, so then I head to bed. In the end, everyone got their work done. Everyone did spectacular, so it's all good. So those were the 4 courses that we had to take. And in the next term, 1B, which starts in 2 days, there are 5 courses we need to take. Because of the COVID situation and Omicron now, our first month is online, so I'll probably do an update on it, because architecture online is, like, for some classes like 110, 142, and 120, we could do it online. But for Studio, doing it online is quite a challenge, I would think. And it wouldn't be as fun as it would be if we were to be in person in Studio. But anyways, that was 1A. I had a great school life balance. I also thought I needed to quit my part-time job. It's not really part-time. It's more full-time, part-time. But anyways, I thought I needed to quit my job. I have not needed to quit my job, and I've also taken on more roles within my job. just because I've been able to schedule everything and work at a pace that allows me to have a lot of time. So that was 1A. I hope this video was helpful, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.